so I guess we got an air date for this thing, and we got a trailer for it, but the air date isn't in the trailer for some reason. I don't really understand how any of this works. But anyway, so the Kim Possible live action trailer released, and I'm reacting for it for the first time. Yes, because I didn't watch it on my phone when like 500 people spammed me with it on Twitter and was like, what do you think? And I'm just like, I don't know, these are hard choices. I don't know, this stuff is hard and I hate it, and oh gosh. My initial thoughts are something you're gonna have to watch the whole goddamn video for. Don't cheat. I see you cheating. Don't skip ahead. I know you can do that though.
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
So you're gonna sit with me, and we're gonna watch it together, like pretend we're friends, and then I'll actually talk about how I feel about it, but I have a lot of feelings. Jesus Christ. Okay.
So a few years ago, I accidentally
So I think she's on the rocket ship thing that flies, but it's not the right goddamn color! The logo isn't even right, it bothers me. Let's talk about Shigo real quick. I can definitely tolerate Shigo, but I alluded to this on Twitter, but I'm going to be really, really disappointed if Shigo's plasma blasts are power-ups. Like, you can see her hand, they're powering up, looks like a gadget. It doesn't look like she actually has green superpowers. And I thought that was the coolest shit ever, yo. Like, there was a show where the bad guys had superpowers and the good guys didn't, and the good guys still kicked ass. Like, what the hell? Okay, let's talk about the costumes of Draco and Shigo and the rest of the cast in a sec.
Who am I? I'm Kim Possible. I got this. Kim, jump in there.
Some bad screening there.
You are late.
I'm not sure if that teacher is supposed to be Mr. Birkin or not. I guess we'll have to see. I think Draken is supposed to be doing the voiceover here. You can see in this edit that the live action fighting and the choreography and all that stuff, there's not a lot of it in here, which makes me scared that it's not that good. In the original Kim Possible, the choreography was like the shit, and that was part of the believability of the action, but we'll see.
About her that makes her able to defeat villain after villain after villain. She's certain spark. I will steal that spark.
God bless Todd, I can't pronounce his last name. He plays Draken, he's trying really hard. He's like, if you guys notice, he doesn't really sound naturally like Draken. Draken's much more higher pitched. John DiMaggio's Draken is much more higher pitched.
Ooh, irony. And it's in my favor this time.
But the speech pattern is very similar, so he's trying, bless his heart.
Makes Kim possible.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about Patton Oswalt as Dementor. As someone pointed out to me on Tumblr, did you know he's the original voice actress as Dementor? And I'm just like, shit dog, it's not like my name is ILoveKimPossibleAlot, shut the fuck up. But he's playing Dementor, and I'm okay with this, but the outfit that he has is like, we'll talk about that later.
Mind if we crash the party?
Like the fucking stick, they're just like, we need something to put in the trailer that shows like stuff. Let's use a stick. A Shigo blasts, allegedly. She just keeps on kicking Shigo. That's all we get. We get a Shigo kick. The actual movie is called Kim Possible. They're not calling it anything else. Okay, Disney, thanks for that. So let's talk about a couple things. So if you guys notice at the very end, there's this child there wearing a mock-up of the season 4 outfit, as Sadie Stanley is wearing the original outfit, and Ron's wearing something. He looks like he's wearing a fucking hoodie. Come on, guys. And Athena's a new character, and the catch with her is she's Kim Possible's biggest fan, and she's gonna go on a mission with her. And when I saw that, I laughed for like 30 minutes. Hey Disney, you know, you can invite me for this shit too, yo. Like, you know, you should know about these things that exist on the internet. But goddamn. So overall, I put something about this on Twitter. Now that I'm seeing this proof of concept, I'm very concerned if that Kim Possible as a concept can work in a live action medium. On a basic level it can, but on a basic level, any cartoon can work on a live action medium. Before we get into some weird film theory stuff, it's more of, is Kim believable when she's actually a 15-year-old? I think that was mostly everyone's concern, because when she was a cartoon character and voiced by an older voice actress, the whole high school thing just kind of seemed like it was easier to digest, I suppose. And now that we're seeing all these characters in real time in live action, it's just like, oh god, is that really Kim Possible? It doesn't sound like Kim Possible. She's kind of annoying so far, and again, not to her fault, but she's just a 15-year-old, and I'm wondering if people's concerns about what they're seeing is because of it's in live action. The second thing is, like I said, the live action cinematography doesn't really look that realistic from what I'm seeing, and I'm very scared that this thing in general has a whole very decom-y Disney Channel original movie, like small budget. Like a lot of these changes to the original source material, I'm afraid were just out of convenience and to save some money. Speaking of saving money, let's talk about Draken and Shigo's outfits. Oh god. So there was a big hullabaloo when the new Draken and Shigo were shown, and Shigo was in green, Draken was in blue, and he technically has some blue veins on the side to kind of make it more realistic is what they said, but I don't know if I believe that. Dr. Evil had a mini-me. Was that realistic? No, but it fucking worked. But even in this live action trailer, you can't see any of the blue veins that he has. You know, I didn't even, like, you know, if you were just watching this casually with, like, one viewing, it's just like, who's that white guy playing Draken? He also doesn't have a ponytail, they just messed up his hair. They found someone that naturally has Draken's widow's peak and just, like, messed it up a little bit. She looks pretty cool besides the whole not being green thing, and the outfit is just, like, the show makers, the director, I don't know who they interviewed, but they interviewed someone and they said Shigo's original costume looks like pajamas, and I'm like, bitch, have you seen what Disney's putting out with Avengers? Like, have you seen it? And Shigo's costume is much more like fucking, it's very boring. I hate it. Oh god, those hands, I just know that they're gonna light up because Draken invented it and I'm gonna go in a hole and cry. She's supposed to have powers. She's supposed to have superpowers from a rainbow comet. God damn it. The gays gave her superpowers. But points for Draken's outfit being pretty much the same as it was in the show. Yay. I don't know how I feel about this. They totally made that last shot with pre-existing promotional material and they like put it in After Effects and they add some lighting and you can never tell unless I told you, but now you know that. Haha. So I think those are all my initial thoughts. To recap, I'm not too impressed with this trailer. 114 dislikes. Oh, so it looks like the internet is with me. So a lot of it is like that question of can Kim Possible work in a live action medium? Most people are saying no, but it has a very Disney Channel original movie feel where we're not seeing a lot of the cinematography, which is making it look cheap. A lot of the choices with the actors, like not making Draken blue and not making Shigo green. I get it, it's an artistic choice, but it looks cheap. Dementor's outfit looks boring as shit. Like, compare that to the original Dementor's outfit, it's just like, Dementor just, maybe there's some sort of plot contrivance where Dementor is trying to blend in with his henchmen, and then he's like, here the whole time. I'll take that, but as this is, it looks lazy. It's like, what props do we have? I don't give a shit. Let's just find a helmet and put 2 holes in it for his ears. Oh, God. But we'll have to see more at the end of the day. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to so hard. Remember, the original creators wrote the script, so there's that. That exists. It's just not working. It just seems too cheap. It looks like it's cutting too many corners. Sadie is not believable as Kim Possible only because we're just so used to the animated Kim Possible. And we'll see. Hey Disney, if you want to reboot the original Kim Possible in college, please hire me to write it. I need a job, like a real job. Please, oh god, I'd be good at it. Okay, thanks. If you like this video, please like and comment, subscribe if you're new here. Checking out my Kim Possible coverage from someone called ILoveKimPossibleAlot. Good on you for figuring that out. If you're not new here, then please keep on subscribing and liking, commenting, and, you know, all that stupid bullshit. More coverage on the Kim Possible movie as it comes out, including, and expect a huge, big analysis of the movie when it does come out, because if it's bad, I'm gonna rip it to shreds. I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna rip it into tiny little shreds and burn the shreds. Trust me, it's on.
Who am I? I'm Kim Possible.
Ugh, look at this! It's horrible! Ugh, get it out of my sight! Ah, that's better. It's beautiful.
So I guess this was inevitable, right? A YouTube channel named ILoveKimPossibleAlot to comment and break down whatever this is.
What is this thing? What is this thing? Yeah. What is this thing? What is this thing? Yeah.
But before we go into my personal opinions or anything, let's figure out why we got here. Why did Disney decide to reboot its 2002 animated series Kim Possible in live action? Well, okay. It seems the general problem that most people are having with this idea, myself included, is that there's this certain connotation around a Disney Channel original movie that's not animated, but kids really like it, but it's actually horrible. This has been going on through the general conception of these live-action shows and their movie counterparts. Did we really need a Hannah Montana movie? Did we really need it to be theatrically released? They tend to follow very cliched plot elements and adventures for their characters and cast, rarely pushing social boundaries or providing good entertainment. Well, it's not bad entertainment, but it's very safe entertainment. At the very least, these adventures and branding are safe investments. And as the Disney Channel over the course of the 90s and 2000s started to switch its programming to cheaper to produce live-action shows with quirky premises, animation-themed shows begin to suffer. The Disney afternoon became a thing of the past. And ever since 2000, Disney has tried its best to balance the safe, quirky sitcom with its actual animated programming. That's usually better. Arguably, even shows like The Proud Family, an animated show centering around an African-American family, and Recess, a metatextual envision of a playground environment through the eyes of children, that was really smart by the way, had a lot more to offer than whatever this is.
I'm so sorry you have to leave, Mr. Flex. I hear you have a pressing engagement.
Nowadays, people still have a fondness for these shows and movies, and they tend to form mostly nostalgic viewpoints of them, and that's fine, but were they good? I see you over there, Zac Efron. Even today, when you see things like Phineas and Ferb and Miles Murphy's Law compared to its live-action counterparts, they usually don't compete. It says a lot about how much thought is needed to pitch an animated show to Disney versus its sitcom. Animation is more expensive after all, but still, you're Disney, can you make some better live-action stuff, yo? And that seems to be the trend with Disney nowadays, in a much bigger sense of the company's marketing strategy. And it makes sense, right? Why make something original when there is a guaranteed return on your investment? Let's just remake everything. All these dang live-action remakes that seem to add a meta-example to the original material to make it age better, I guess? As real social issues of feminism and, the Me Too movement and stuff like this is a thing, a property like Kim Possible has a lot of potential, and it might fit Disney's marketing strategy. A property that's nostalgic, carrying a lot of potential return on investment, Nickelodeon itself has gone full swing with this, developing a network and renewing some of its old properties that are specifically targeting 90s kids, like Hey Arnold and Rocko's Modern Life, because there's just such a high demand of it. Or at least, it looks like it. So what can go wrong? A lot. Now, the internet doesn't seem to be a fan of a live-action Kim Possible reboot. From the get-go, there seem to be pretty vocal objections to this whole idea. What seems to work for Disney on paper doesn't seem to be working for the public. There are two big reasons for that, I think. One is the aforementioned fear that a live-action movie will equal a loss of quality, which is a bigger factor for the Disney Channel than Disney proper, but they haven't really been doing such a great job anyway. Lion King. And two, the original show had a lot of charm to it. Shut up, let me gush. Factors like the animation style from veteran character designer Steven Silver really helped it find its voice and its sense of humor. That would also mean some jokes which work for animation really might not take the cake in this live-action counterpart and look cheesy. Other factors to consider is Kim's original design left her age slightly ambiguous, which is a big factor in the suspension of disbelief in a teenager being so snappy to these grown-ass adults working out. You can only get so many Tom Hollands and make this work. Having the actual bad guys be actual cartoon villains, again, helped with this feeling of making the world plausible. Some of Kim's lines spoken by an actual 15-year-old take something that kind of works based on the chemistry of the cast into sounding cheap and gross.
So what's the sitch? So what's the sitch?
Thanks, I hate it. A little history before we move on, for those who are unaware. There's an actual episode based on the concept of a Kim Possible live-action movie entitled "And the Mole Rat Will Be CGI."
The whole thing of a Kim Possible movie.
Holly weird if you ask me.
You get it? You get it now? Ah! When the series' planned finale, So the Drama, was supposed to be live action, this episode was an attempt to poke fun at that concept. For some reason, I'm assuming Disney thought it was too much of a risk for theatrical release, and the film was animated with a larger budget than normal, and we got Sky High instead. I'm not a fan of Sky High. I love the original creators who wrote the script, but yeah. And I think this worked out for the better. So the drama is beautifully animated, and having such a big change happen in the original medium of the show I think served the message and impact of it much better than a live action movie could have. But hey, that's just me. Ironically, this episode is kind of reverse parroting the problems that many people are initially having with this live action movie. Kim was at least 16 to 17 for the majority of the series, just saying. Aren't these damn kids a little young?
Well, I don't think so.
Instead of the Hollywood system that grossly wants a spectacle feature, misunderstanding its core audience, we have a feature that quite isn't sure how to make both its core audience of kids and nostalgic adults happy, screwing over the Tangled series in the process. Thanks, Disney, I hate it. And one more thing before we move on to the actual main review of this movie. I see people complaining that the movie's writers don't know these characters that well, and you might want to check on that, just saying. I'm pretty sure if they created the characters, they know them the best. But right, on to the important stuff. Does all this hold up? It was okay. You can go home now. Bye! But the movie had some high and low points, I think. There are parts where the Kim Possible lore was improved or clarified, and there's also parts that didn't quite work for me. In the spirit of fairness, let's unbiasedly break down the sitch, or whatever.
Well, we're waiting.
The movie opens up with some exposition about how Kim started to save the world, which, if you guys will remember, A Stitch in Time has more details about.
Who am I? I'm Kim Possible.
In fact, what happened?
Stow it, Pee-wee, I heard it all before.
Dementor is reprised by Patton Oswalt, which is great. I love it, 10 out of 10. Not really thrilled with his outfit redesign though, but we'll get to more of those later. Kim and Ron have to stop Dementor, and this is where my first issue with the movie is. The action isn't as tight as it can be. One super kick and I guess this guy is knocked out. One jetpack thing later and Kim takes out a bunch of goons like bowling pins. There are moments in the original series where the Kim Possible action is not the tightest, but there are other times where it's on point, and it works. In order to believe that Kim is a super amazing character that can defeat goons twice her size, I think it would have benefited if Sadie was doing some tighter and more believable defense. This just seems a little weak. Compare this fighting to, say, a Jackie Chan scene from any movie, or something from Avatar. You see what I mean? And sometimes Sean's Ron voice comes off nasally and unrealistic, but sometimes it works too. What? I'm trying to be fair. Also, I really don't get Dementor's edge here. I mean, I guess Dementor tries to kill the scientist dude because he's secretly a brony?
I cannot take over the world, but the pink and the sparkles. Everybody will make the fun!
How? They'll all be disintegrated.
I really hate to admit this, but he's not wrong.
So we get some more aforementioned fighting. Dementor is stopped in a reference to ill-suited, and the button sound was kind of funny.
Wait, I know we gotta fly, but I need you to see if there's a self-destruct button anywhere.
Self-destruct sequence initiated. Enjoy your death.
I should also mention there's a ton of Easter eggs that involve the original show. Just keep an eye out. Kim and Ron save the day, avoid explosion of sparkles. Is Ron liable for that? Gotta wonder.
Peter, my man, you see all that? Buttload of awesomeness.
Deadpool, you idiot! Do you know how much money all those explosions and tacky graphics just cost me?
And then they remade the theme song. Cute. I like our version better, but you know, what are you gonna do? Oh hey, the Possible house looks exactly the same. Cool. Innocent escape pod enthusiast made me chuckle. We get introduced to the fam, but I do wish there was some more challenging dialogue to prove that the twins were super cool geniuses. Oh well. So this is Kim's room. Although it keeps the general theme and color of the original, there are a lot of science-themed stuff going on here. That's one criticism to the original show. We never really knew what Kim was into. Even when she was heading off to college, I was kind of waiting for some kind of hint of what she wanted to do or like what she was gonna major in, but we never got it. Kim, when you gonna figure that stuff out, man?
You're not my fucking mother!
Also, Junior Rocketeer sweater. So we get introduced to two major changes in the scene. One is that Kim is gonna have some more flaws in this movie, which I'm flexible to, but we'll get more to that later. And second is Ann Possible is a black belt, and Kim's grandmother also helps train her. This is one of the major problems in the original series. There was never a clear answer to how exactly Kim became super amazing. She just kinda did. Later it was revealed that Nana Possible was secretly a badass, but Kim kinda didn't know that until much later down her career path.
She trained with the Shaolin monks to perfect the ancient art of Peng Lang Chuan Kung Fu.
There are subtle implications that it was genetic, but we're never really sure. Kim the superhuman confirmed? Anyway, I am for at least this clarification, as it never really made sense originally.
Fact 3, I know 16 styles of Kung Fu.
Bitch, how?
Mantis Kung Fu rocks.
You know the Mantis style?
Well, I wouldn't say no. I might say dabbled in.
Bitch, how? So it's nice to have some clarity. Oh, this bus scene is still stupid. I'm not sorry. We get it, Kim is a good person, but why does she wait until the last minute to go chase the bus? Why did she aim a sharp metal object at a baby? Why does the bus driver not give any shits? This is also where we get a really awkward booyah from Sean, by the way.
Booyah!
Cut to white Draken sitting in jail, and let's talk about Draken and Chico. While I do think that Draken as a character is definitely on the sliding scale of how threatening he can be, he works best comedically when he's harmless. He works as a foil when he's more threatening. As much as he talks about wanting to kill Kim and the gang, I don't think he could really handle succeeding. Kinda like Megamind. You get it? Because Megamind is also blue? You get it? As stated earlier, besides the mission outfit, Draken and Chico get the most changes aesthetically. Chico's costume is scaled down to mostly black, and although it's never confirmed, it looks like they did cut her superpowers, and she's also white too. And as much as I prefer the original outfit, I guess this is passable? I'm just not a fan of giving her special gadget gloves. Her being a superhero turned bad was part of her MO in the original series. I feel like this takes away from that.
We kept Ghost City safe from evil, but the more we fought evil, the more Shigo liked it.
The fighting?
The evil.
Right.
But I think there were a lot of other people who were upset about Draken's changes. I'm not sure if the veins were a reference to this, but
Grateful brats, find that remote!
the argument is that having Draken blue would take away from the seriousness of his tone, I guess? But when we had Draken still being Draken and uploading selfies and being a goof, then I think the blue skin would have been fine. Not too blue though. That's just a thought. As far as personalities, there are minor changes with Chico's. She's a little less sarcastic and a lot more easier to read. There's a whole season 4 subplot about how Shigo just didn't want to bust out Draken because she was trying to suppress her thing for him. It's a little more transparent that Chico does care about him, but she's still gonna give him attitude. Draken, well, when you take his actual dialogue and imagine it with old school Draken, it's pretty much the same. Draken is more of a threat here because he has to be in order for the plot to work, but he's still silly and out of touch. So it's Kim and Ron's first day of school, and oh, Middleton High sign never change. There's a distinct tone change compared to the original series. Everyone at Middleton High is kind of a dick.
This map shows the school's central nervous system. The greatest people you will ever meet, and the worst.
This in comparison to where most people were at least pleasant at the school, even though they still didn't really care about the whole saving the world thing. But they all had issues, well, almost everyone. Enter Bonnie Rockwaller, who in this version is aged up to help with her seniority status. She's playing the usual alpha bitch role here, but it seems like everyone just lets her. That's kinda usual, but the whole school? Welp. Kim and Ron eventually find homeroom and, oh, Mr. Barkin, what happened to you? Did this guy eat Mr. Barkin? In the show, Mr. Barkin was a muscular ex-military dude. I guess they made this change to play on the cats thing for later? Because that's the only type of pussy he can get, ayo! I'm sure they could have just gotten Patrick Warburton if they booked Patton Oswalt. Like some of the previous changes, this seems to be one of convenience. Maybe the changes to Draken and Chico had convenience in mind, but this doesn't do any favors to the source material. More on that later. And okay, I'll give it a point for the Barkenstick reference.
What? How are you here?
So Kim tries out for the soccer team, which is a change I don't mind. Cheerleading always seemed like a committee of shadows picked it as a popular sport for Kim to play. Cheerleading fit a little better because the whole flips and spins part helped Kim with her missions. And they tried to incorporate these ideas here too. Results vary. And it turns out it's a ploy. I'm not sure why Kim didn't decline and just try out next year, but I guess she wants to prove her grit or something? I don't know. Let's talk about Draken's use of spying on Kim via every camera in the world, because I know Draken's character. It's not that big of a deal. But out of context, a 40-year-old dude spying on some 15-year-olds, you might want to think about these things a little harder next time.
Keep talking, creepo. Every word buys you another year in the slammer.
But I like this scene. It's in character and it's cute, and we're moving on. Oh, that girl who is obviously not evil is crying and sad. What are we gonna do? We'll get to this more later. For now, I appreciate Athena as a fangirl. It's cute. And Ron wants to be a dog. You get it? Foreshadowing? Hey, look, that thing they added as a Barkin personality trait is being useful. Cool. I really don't get why they made this specific change, but cut to Kimrim.
Why don't you wear this on missions anymore? It used to be your thing. I don't know, I guess wearing the same thing all the time kind of felt cartoony.
Are you fucking kidding me?
This really bothers me. Let's talk about it first. I knew the original mission outfit wouldn't make a return. Disney even suggested that Kim's outfit be updated in season 4 because the noticeable belly button, which seems like hypocrisy on Disney's part. I get that this is a subtle nod, but it feels almost mean-spirited, implying that this Kim is too good to wear this outfit anymore, even though she still does wear the exact same thing on multiple missions in the movie. So while this new outfit is alright, the original outfit is still part of franchise mythos. It deserves respect, yo. And I think this is the bigger part of the picture. As much respect as this gives the source material, these things that I mentioned, like Shigo's outfit and some of the lore changes to Mr. Barkin, to minor things really make and embody the decom feel. But in some ways, all these adjustments that don't really seem to make sense and don't honor some of the legacy parts of the franchise just makes it lose its tone and makes it feel cheap. Laser lipstick is a reference, by the way, so at least there's that. Oh, and then there's a dance party.
Party music, party song, does not attract attention, suggests a good time.
So after the makeover scene, we get Christy cameo. Yeah, original voice of Kim Possible, if you remember. Also, cute touch by using the ride-sharing thing. Yeah, that's the nice nod I'm talking about. I'm not sure what this changing scene is lampshading, by the way. I guess just normal cartoon logic. Cut to Evil Science Layer, we get a huge lore change, and this is how Ron meets Rufus. Rufus is also upgraded to super smart. I guess this is for plot convenience, which I guess makes more sense, I don't know. Also, we're getting subtle hints that Athena is out Kimming Kim, you get it? Is she evil? Yeah, she is. Shigo's here, by the way, and we get back to the fighting choreography problem. If I'm a new viewer, I really want to believe that a 28-year-old is an equal threat to a high school freshman. Again, this is easier to grasp in animation form, so this fight needs to be on point. I'm not saying that every Kim and Shigo fight in the original series was awesome and amazing, but their first fight sure was. It establishes their skill set, and that Shigo is almost an equal foil to Kim. Comparing this to some of the highlights of their fights in the original series, it's kind of underwhelming. Also, Kim is afraid of electric eels. Remember how I complained about Mr. Barkin earlier? Well, that excuse the trio used for the cat volunteering thing was at least set up. This was not. It's pretty lazy. Was the original Kim afraid of electric eels? I'm not sure. Oh wait, here's a clip.
With, don't tell me, sharks, crocs.
Electric eels, actually.
The bad villain puns just write themselves. Shocking, isn't it?
We gotta fucking change the theme song. She can do anything except electric eels. So let's proceed to make Kim feel like shit and inadequate. Draken uploads the electric eels bit to YouTube, I guess, or something, and now the whole school is watching it. And then Athena makes the soccer team anyway. Doesn't like a teacher have to double check that or something? Well, anyway. Kim, feeling kicked in the shadows of Athena, goes to grandmother's to help train. Again, I really like this clarification. This is one of the changes I liked. Let's get to one I didn't like. So the whole point of this Athena arc is to make Kim feel inferior with her abilities, which I guess makes her more relatable. Even though Kim can do all these amazing things, what grounded her as a character was that she was still having everyday teenage problems. She thought saving the world wasn't a big deal and that she'd gladly do it for no charge even. I can't understand why there's this push to make Kim even more relatable by having her base her whole identity on her hero work to the point that she is threatened by someone else in the spotlight. Makes it look like her motivations for doing it was just to feel special to begin with. Like she wasn't doing it to save people. This is what bothers me about Kim's characterization as a whole in this movie. By implying that she's so sensitive to her ego, it makes her motivations clouded. And that really does a disservice to the show. Anyway, speaking of things that also bother me, this scene is stupid. Because Athena is so amazing, the school decides to put on an assembly for her? What school is this? How did this get approved? 5.5 GPA? What the hell? I could buy if Draken planned this in advance, but I think the school just did it on their own. What the fuck?
What? What the fuck?
Oh no, it's a trap. Kim, don't screw this up and put your ego over the lives of other people. Oh, whoops. The Sheen Ninjas made me laugh, though. And the Instagram thing. Did you read the bottom text? So in character. It's great. I love it. Draken and Shigo are the highlight of this movie, if you haven't noticed. So it's time to save Athena. After Kim and Ron have the usual talk about how outside sources don't define you, Draken and Shigo are getting drunk on milk. I shit you not. This is pretty stupid. I thought it was gonna be a reference to Kokomu or something, a chocolate milk type thing in the show, but like, I kept waiting and no one said anything about it, so I'm not sure what's going on. It's a reference that you missed, trust me. One time in the show, Draken took a shot, and it was subtle, and so it was okay, but now it's not. I guess the Disney Channel just can't imply alcohol at all, for some reason. Oh, plot twist, Athena's evil. Look at that. She got a Shigo burp.
So what? What do you want? A gold star? A cookie? You want a hug? You want a hug?
I'm not sure why they used that take. And for those playing at home, this was a plot reference to show the drama, where Kim falls for a guy and he turns out to be evil and working for Draken and Shigo. This one's just a little bit gayer. So once we gather the team and like, man, does new Mr. Dr. P sound like the old one, Jesus. The team breaks in, Draken and Shigo betray Athena, but not without some fun highlights.
Where did you pull that out of?
The off switch is all the way up there.
Don't tell them where it is!
Shigo!
This is another point that bothered me a little bit. As evil as Draken and Shigo are, they're not like Voldemort or Darth Vader levels of evil. They just don't go around killing the innocent, at least not to my knowledge. Draken's main motivation for being evil is to prove his worth to his college friends, and later he would.
All right. Go on, laugh away, but one day my genius will be recognized.
In the original series, he does get that recognition in a way he just didn't expect. That's his character arc. Shigo, at least through season 4, is learning that it's okay to let people into your life. The closest thing they ever do to be evil is steal a superpower wheelchair, to the point where Shigo comments on it.
Oh, no, you're not gonna jack some kid's wheelchair.
So the dismissal of Athena, especially when she starts freaking out like a human, is a little bit out of character. The second point I wanted to make, since the storyline is already being compared to Eric, G, whatever happened to him? Spoilers, by the way.
Huh? Oh no!
The good guys killed him. What? So the sudden caring about sentient life thing is kind of out of the blue. I'm not sure what's going on or what messages we're trying to convey, but it's a little bit confusing.
Do you remember the question that caused the creators to attack us, Talizora? Does this unit have a soul?
After Draken starts talking about prison, Rufus of all things saves the day. Draken, in a surprising turn of events, turns into a child as the machine malfunctions. Shigo, by the way, censors herself from fan-fucking-tastic to fan-Draken-tastic if you listen.
This is fan-Draken-tastic. Silent, Shigo!
Athena stays behind to contain the explosion and sacrifices herself, although Kim begs her not to. I really think these two have more chemistry than Kim and Ron at this point, I'm just saying. So we get our happy ending. Athena is rebuilt, Kim learns about self-worth, and we get our sequel hook.
My new evil master plan to take down Kim Possible will be my greatest yet.
So how does this hold up? Although there are some cute moments and great lore, it depends on the viewer. Well, not as good as the cartoon in my opinion, this is harmless enough. It's okay. Everyone seems to be really trying hard to make this work, and it's easy to see the kind of care the actors and crew put into making this. At the same time, there are points where the original plots and ideas could have been more prevalent, and the action could have been much more believable to really make this work as a live-action concept. Would I recommend it? It's harmless enough, like I said, and if you like the original show, seeing these characters reimagined is kind of fun. And it's good to know that they're still being viewed by a modern audience. If you're gonna get hung up on the details, I will admit the cast lacks a little bit of the chemistry the original one did, and it might not work for you. If you have problems believing these kids are the definitive Kim and Ron, then this probably is a hard movie to get through. There are some major changes under the surface though, to Kim and her ego issues, to Draken and Shigo being more threatening than they were in the cartoon most of the time. Remember, Draken mostly wants to take over the world to prove his worth and success, and Shigo kinda likes evil but doesn't do it independently because she'd be really good at it, but sticks around because she starts crushing on Draken much to her dismay. I get these changes to Kim though. She's a type A person, she can handle anything except being exceptional at high school. Giving her an inferiority complex makes sense. It's just what that implies is the problem. That her good doingness is out of her ego and selfishness, and that's really not good. Ron also doesn't really have a lot to do in this movie besides fighting Rufus. Sean Ginabroni works okay-ish as a positive Ron, but I'm not sure if he can hold himself when arguing with Kim when she has to ground him. If you can look past all this stuff, this is a harmless, cute time that tries to stay true to the original, with okay-ish results and some major problems that I hope will be fixed next time, if there is a future for this. So if you like this review, please remember to like and comment and subscribe and notify the bell and yay, okay, bye.
The big brain am winning again. I am the greatest.
I was transferring his life data and collecting all the information essential to my creation. Now, Hyper Metal Sonic is ready!
So we're gonna mix it up a bit and do some analysis into Kim Possible. What's Kim Possible? It's not like it's in my name or anything. Okay, obvious joke is obvious. Let's talk about the best thing, chipping. I mean, it's technically about a canon couple, so it's okay. Specifically between the most popular villains in the series, Draken and Shigo. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. We know that Kim and Ron are the popular couple of the series, and they are the OTP, I know. We get a whole season of them being cute, adorable couple, and it's great, and I love it. Most people are a little less aware that Draken and Shigo technically became a couple at the very end of the series. There, you see it? It's right there. Technically. Now, some people who don't know this are kind of a little grossed out at first. I get it. Kim and Ron were always supposed to be together, and Draken and Shigo were definitely not supposed to be together forever. In fact, it was the last-minute addition to the lore, as a way for the Kim crew trying to make the dreams of all the children possible, mostly mine. And kind of like good old Korosami, the build-up between these two was subtle to say the least. And today we're going to analyze it and talk about it, how it's there the whole time, even though the end goal kind of became more clear at the very end of the series. Let me explain. Draken and Shigo's relationship originally was very on the books, sidekick and boss. Shigo was written much more respectively early on. In the first episode in chronological order, Tick Tick Tick, for example, the usual banter that they are known for is minimal at best. Their tone for a duo doesn't really start getting fleshed out until season 2, where they start getting more direct attention to not only their plots, but their working relationship. By mid-season 2, it was obvious that they could stand each other and have a working or somewhat working relationship. Or Shigo would probably just leave at that point. My theory is that Shigo respected his drive for success, and even though he never achieved it, he still got back up and tried again. There's some minor hints here and there about third parties lampshading how people who spend all that time together are still functioning on a borderline friendship level.
She's not my girlfriend. Don't you think it's time you settled down and met a nice girl?
Oh, ick.
But Shigo doesn't even show some direct care for Draken's mood until the TV movie, for the most part. But she's trying to cheer him up after another failed scheme. See my earlier comment about Shigo respecting him because of his ambition and drive. So we end season 3 with the big Kim and Ron hookup and the kiss that burned into my head and will be there until I'm dead. But from Draken and Shigo's point of view, Draken and Shigo were sent to jail after their closest success yet.
But he was so close.
We then proceed to have Shigo be broken out by different villains. Not once, but twice. Draken's kind of annoyed at that. It's seen mostly as a respect thing that people think Shigo is more competent than Draken, and there's some truth in that.
Wasn't it clear that Shigo was the only one smart enough to take over the world?
But did you guys see the evil robots in the sky or what? Even still, after Draken is broken out, Shigo shows up. I guess she assumed that he would just bounce back. So a couple things. Point A, for someone who's frustrated to be grouped with Draken so often, and can be obviously much more successful by herself, she just comes back. She also begins to get super jealous to the point of fighting an alien replacement, or manga. If she didn't like him, she could just leave.
Peace, adios, sayonara, das vidanya, bonsoir, and all those other different languages. Consider this my final bow because we are done here.
It's because she likes him. After that, Draken gets kicked out of the sky, and Shigo presumably goes back on vacation and has sex. Lots of sex. Gee, I wonder why.
Midas has the, golden touch.
So it's undetermined what exactly happened and why Draken and Shigo got over this and started working together again. It's implied in their next appearance, Grande Size Me, that they did recover their relationship somehow, but it's never shown or even implied what happened. My interpretation is Draken was super mad for a time and Shigo kinda gave him some space, then she apologized in a Shigo appropriate way, and things were good. But this still took some time. Maybe there was a speech given about how they were better as a team or something, or how they should defeat Kim together or something. I don't know, I didn't write it. Then there's this subtle overarching plot that continues. It's specifically there in Captain Draken, where Shigo is the only one who's able to defeat Kim or something. That's some weird vibes between Shigo and Kim there too. I always think at this point Shigo doesn't really know what her feels are doing and what is constant, and most importantly, what she wants in her future, and she's clinging to the familiar. After some build-up that's consistent until graduation, when Draken's in trouble, Shigo pulls no punches. She kinda looks genuinely horrified when Draken is abducted. There's no joking, Shigo ain't like, well that was fun, I'm gonna chill on the beach before the world ends, which would totally be in character for her, by the way. She goes up to outer space to save Draken first, and it gets the world while she's there. Cue awkward hug of awkward.
Yeah, about time you got here.
It's also implied that she changed in front of him. I don't know. I don't make this stuff up. At this point, I think Shigo's kind of aware of her feelings, but suppressing it. But it's getting increasingly obvious that something's up. At least to Kim.
There is nothing going on with me and Dr. D. Nothing? Nothing!
I always saw Shigo, as proud as she was, not wanting to admit that's how she felt, that she's too much of a dominant figure to like Draken like that, and that she can control her emotions.
Come on, we better help. See? You do care. Ugh.
There's also some subtleties for the rest of the episode. There's this scene where Draken's being an idiot, and you can see Shigo's just being genuinely worried. I see what's going on.
No chance, no way, I won't say it, no, no. Give up, or give in, check the queen, you're in love.
Then it's how the series ends. Draken's feelings about the matter have always been a little bit more clearer, but I always imagined that he was never opposed to a romantic relationship with Shigo, but I doubt he would ever thought she'd be interested, so he's just a supporter.
I do think of us as a kind of evil family, and families stick together. So if you need me, I'll be there for you.
That's kind of why he freaks out in motion sickness. That kind of 180 is really out of character for Shigo.
I'm scared.
But even as early as season 2, if Shigo's in trouble, Draken shows up with a robot to come save the day. So it's obvious that he cares for her, it's just to what extent she can tolerate him. Now that she's finally come to terms with her feelings, Draken is kinda down, I guess. I mean, the plant does what he wants, so although Draken and Shigo's romantic relationship is unclear and all the important stuff starts to happen right near the end, I really think it says a lot about writing characters as a whole. They can change, they can develop relationships despite their personalities, they can be vulnerable and prone to change. So I hope you keep that in mind when exploring your favorite characters in popular media, or writing your own characters. Keep calm and ship everything! And that's all, folks, except it's not time for the ending gag.
This bitch empty!
Keep this discreet, you hear me? I can't let it get out I'm offering my services to randos on the street. It was a quick cash grab. You got it?
What happens in my bedroom, detective, is none of your business.
No time for kissy face.
I like kissy face!
Mark me down as scared and horny.
Yay!
Why are you looking at me like that?
Don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom.
Bad touch, stranger danger.
Hi everyone, welcome to our top 10 list of the best Kim Possible episodes that ever Kim Possibled. With your host, ILoveKimPossibleAlot, the best expert in the whole world, except not really. Before we talk about today's episode recommendations, I thought I would talk about why Kim Possible is still important and impactful, and maybe if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out on Disney+. If you like my silly videos, please remember to subscribe and click your notification bell. It helps and hopefully spreads the word around. Woo. I think the reason Kim Possible has aged so well in the general consensus is it took great lengths to have a unique tone. Yeah, it's true that Kim is essentially a compost character who doesn't have many predefined character traits herself, besides the whole saving the world is no big deal, but teenage problems are scary, mom. Its biggest strength is having the characters connecting with their surroundings, and therefore the audience by lampshading and overall being self-aware. Say for instance, a hero in any medium is trapped in the bad guy's lair, and the lair itself is like a piece of garbage, because the set is cheap or something. I'm looking at you, Adam West Show.
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray.
We as the audience see that. When the hero himself points it out and uses it to question the budget and success of the villain, it sets the stage for a great way to build up both character dynamic and development. These kind of interactions shape Draken from a somewhat serious Bond villain into a flanderization of a funny, bumbling, amazing character that we all know and love.
Figo!
Cerebellum, ultra smart, super genius thinking society? Are you kidding me? Whoa.
And this is obviously for the better.
Enough chit-chat. My pets are famished. Perhaps you two could stay
For lunch.
I wasn't going to say that.
You have something that doesn't belong to you. Okay, technically it doesn't belong to me either. But I'm a villain, so I don't particularly care.
That kind of back and forth storytelling dynamic later influenced shows like Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb is even more exaggerated and ridiculous, and fundamentally why the Kim Possible live-action movie is a lot less charming and inherently good than the original is because something that might be charming in one medium might just translate into looking cheap and corny in another, as well as the audience suspension of disbelief changing. We can believe that a cartoon character can do all these amazing things, but can we believe a real 16-year-old girl can? Probably not.
Yep, that's me.
You're probably wondering how I got myself into this situation.
Number 10, Steel Wheels. Steel Wheels is an episode where John DiMaggio is just talking to himself the whole time.
I'm the evil genius, and you're the mechanical genius. Sweet, dude! I say we ferociously trick this baby out. Seriously, you hear that, Shigo? We're tricking out the Doom Bee!
Not only is the animation amazing, but I feel like it asks the core questions of bad guys and their MOs in the show, but more on that later. This one is one of my personal favorites because of the comedy back and forth of the villain mashup on this one, which you'll see is a recurring trend for the series if you're new here. Particularly, I think the banner here works in both ways, having Draken both be entertaining as well as getting him out of his comfort zone. Despite the bad man line here,
Newsflash, Shigo, I'm a bad man.
I don't really believe that Draken is all about power, and especially not killing the innocent. This line is here to prove a point. Kim herself has to get out of her comfort zone in this episode, and having a good mix of plots where Kim is the weaker skilled player helps ground her character, so she's her best adorable self here. Number 9, Emotion Sickness. This is the episode that historically is considered a fan favorite, and heightens up the tension between the boys and the girls, and shipping intensifies. The plot centers around Kim and Shigo getting stuck with a mood-changing gadget, and there's a love mood which makes them act very out of character. While it probably wasn't wise for this episode to feature Kim and Ron's first kiss, and Draken and Shigo's only kiss, the physical comedy and dialogue this episode induces make it a highlight for people who don't know what the show is about, or seeing the characters interact in extreme situations. It's not about just saving the world or the villain of the week, but it's also about character dynamics themselves. Number 8, The Fearless Ferret. Now this is an episode I didn't really have much context for until I got older, and a great example of being clever with your setup while still making the plot have contextual sense in the universe. The whole episode is a parody of 60s Batman, going so far as to cast the late great Adam West as the Fearless Ferret himself here, something that he's been pretty much doing for most of his career. But the plot gets more complex, because it actually serves as a parody to the DC animated universe's Batman Beyond, which you get it because they share the same voice actor, Will Friedle. It also addresses Ron's character arc as being Kim's equal, which we'll get into later in the series. There's also a twist in here that I won't ruin unless you've seen the episode, but the episode in general is a great use of parody while also addressing some paradynamics, when you have a strong, capable female with a comic relief sidekick. The episode could have been a standalone parody, and it would have been fine, but we take it one step beyond here at Kim Possible.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Number 7, Mad Dogs and Aliens. Mad Dogs and Aliens is the first big return of Draken post-Hilda drama, where someone finally breaks him out of prison, and then they forget to put him back in there. Whoops.
Now put that thing back where it came from, or so help me!
He doesn't go back, by the way, like, ever. This episode sticks with me not only because of its top-notch Draken-themed humor, but it's one of the few times Shigo and Draken's relationship is tested. There's always the assumption that Shigo just stayed with Draken because she's bored and it's easy work, but this episode is the first to hint that there's something greater, as well as establish the villains for the series finale. But still, working for Draken is familiar to her, and the fact that she's not the one in control wrestles some jimmies.
What's the matter with me? You'd think a girl would learn.
We still don't really know who the Great Blue really is, but this episode puts the characters in situations where usually apathetic Shigo has to work for something where it's unclear why she wants to work with it. But she does. Yay, testing characters. Number 6, Dimension Twist. Dimension Twist is a fun Season 3 episode that is not only fun because it has a lot of focus on our main four working together, but in a way that parodies classic television all the way around. Everything from Friends, to ER shows, to Teletubbies, to the Adam West Batman, Draken and Shigo aren't totally bad people, just like keeping busy, so when you get the deadpan character working off happy, cheery Friends setup, these kind of instances start to blend the medium enough that you forget you're watching a Disney show. The comedy breaks it up, kinda like Gargoyles did with drama. Dimension Twist, if you watch a lot of television anyway, is a comedic dip into what we can consume a lot of, in a fun kind of parody way. Number 5, Bad Boy. Talk about mixing up the stakes! Bad Boy works for the same reason that a lot of these entries work, because they focus on the character development between the main four, while both addressing Draken and Ron's ability to not be able to do anything, really. Ron's got mystical monkey powers. He can be a threat, you know, when he wants to.
I thought you were supposed to be some sort of master of monkey kung fu.
You know, it's funny, it comes and goes.
But for the most part, this is an episode that also shows Ron's true potential as a threat, if he wants to. This plot is an interesting take on the Freaky Friday trope, where instead of switching bodies, the characters swap moralities.
and then black, and then blue. I'm blue! I'm blue!
Draken becomes an expert baker, while Ron becomes pretty evil and competent.
Ron, you've got to stop. Evil isn't your thing, it's Draken's thing.
But I'm so much better at it! Did Draken ever build a plasma blaster this dangerous?
It goes to show just how brilliant Draken is. But he's just too much of a passive threat and generally a pretty nice guy for a villain to really hurt someone. He's a big doof. The dialogue in this one is just also too fun.
Tri-City Convention Center. It's the annual supervillain shindig.
How'd you know that?
On the mailing list.
I thought I was signing you up to win a tank, okay?
Oh, ooh, feet itching, good sign.
Since when are itchy feet good?
Please watch it if you can. Good job, Nicole. Number 4, Rappin' Draken. Rappin' Draken is a favorite of mine because Draken is at his hamminess and funniest. Plus his scheme is on the more creative side. We need to distribute a mind control product. What's the best way to do it? Drop it in a rap on national television, because if not, no one will f***ing buy it.
I know I'm gonna regret saying this, but I think you may have finally achieved so dumb it just might work.
This episode is a good example that putting characters in extreme and odd situations can not only be a good writing exercise, but turn out iconic and really define the media in question. Kim Possible as a show is best when all the characters have to work off each other, and the main 4 of the cast get to do that from the very start here. I think people underestimate the villains as well, and good cartoon villains should be able to carry a whole narrative act by themselves, which Draken and Chico do here. Draken doing a rap was the funniest thing to me as a kid, and it's still pretty funny and great.
Lather it and obey. It's time to wash our hair today.
And this episode in general is a great example that children's media doesn't have to be unsophisticated. Highly recommend.
It's Dr. D's brainwashing shampoo and cranium rinse. For Sheezy, it's off the hazy.
Number 3, A Stitch in Time. A Stitch in Time is the first movie event around Kim Possible, made up of 3 different parts. The grandness of it is the villains are put in an environment where they have to work together, which is really entertaining given how conflicting their personalities are. Draken is goofy and slightly stupid, Monkey Fist is serious, Duff is just kinda there, and Shigo doesn't want to deal with any of it. Man. It's also interesting that the movie's thesis is essentially that only Shigo is smart enough to take over the world, but never bothers due to laziness, or it not being as fun.
Shigo is the supreme one? Well, you could have mentioned that.
I thought it was obvious.
Considering that Draken has technically come the closest in So the Drama, I wonder if that claim holds up post-season 2. That all said, the biggest strength this movie has going for it is focusing on Kim and Ron's relationship, something that the regular show usually takes for granted. As strong as Kim is, she needs Ron's emotional support, and sometimes his dumb luck in order to be successful.
See, traveling into your past, I realized one thing. As a team, you two are actually solid. Why? Don't know, don't care.
These breakdowns in Kim's character show her weaknesses, that even though she labels herself as a Mary Sue type, pretty much, she is kind of the opposite in everything but the crime fighting. A Stitch in Time also has very interesting alternative universe takes on the main characters, and how assertive they have to be to rise up to the test, specifically Monique and the brothers. Also, Wade is ripped for some reason. Well, okay.
I am sickened, but curious.
The story arc seems to have some slight growing pains of the series attached to it, which explains a little bit of the weaker moments, but its handling of character relationships as well as showing how capable the whole cast is in a situation that calls for it is a nice touch. Get it? Situation? I'll shut up. Number 2, So the Drama. So the Drama is brilliant for a lot of different reasons, but not many people really appreciate how it balances both a confident and threatening Draken while still keeping him in character. First, some history. The So the Drama Disney Channel original movie was originally planned for a theatrical release, but for unknown reasons the idea was nixed. I imagine due to the potential risk, so we got Sky High instead. I personally think this worked out for the better, because not only does a big status change help when the show is in its original medium, but it helps when the animation is gorgeous. This is the best Kim Possible has ever looked, fight me. The script was written by series creators in early season 1 as a final episode, and it amazes me how well it still works. Like Discord from My Little Pony, my Kim Possible obsession didn't begin until So the Drama. I'm drawn to how media can recontextualize itself, with the most famous example being this.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
If Kim and Ron were interested romantically in each other in some way this whole time, what does it say about their past actions? Was the whole Josh Mankey thing just Ron protecting his feelings about how he's afraid of losing Kim? Probably is the answer to that question.
Ever notice that Mankey is but one vowel away from monkey? You know, I'm not implying anything. It's just something to think about, that's all.
Minky monkey.
On Kim's side, we want someone to not be intimidated by her skills and view her as a person, which Ron does.
I'm weirding guys out. They see me on TV, roundhousing some goon out a window. It's a vivid image.
I feel like in a more realistic world, maybe that's why Kim would have probably gotten interested in some other type of celebrity, someone who does something a little bit more unusual. That's why celebrities and YouTubers date each other in similar fields, so they get each other. In Kim's world though, Ron is that guy who treats her like a person and understands her. It's good. So the drama has to frame itself in a way that makes Ron start to question where his own feelings of jealousy are coming from. And although it's convenient that Eric is a plot device, it gives him that push. Draken also gets some great insight that manipulating something that Kim is vulnerable in, being a teenager, is the best option for winning against her. Kim as a character is awkward and odd, and why she works is because saving the world and being a teenager are on equal planes for her, and that's generally how she keeps the level head about all this stuff. The rest of the film kind of fills in those dots, where Draken has to gather pieces to make his technology widely distributed, like a virus, while Kim is distracted.
If you can't figure it out, she can't figure it out. And that means...
You just might win.
Oh, I'm quite confident.
The film has everything and highlights the character dynamic between not only Kim and Ron, but all the leads. On the surface level, this is another film where the guy has to realize that his friendship with his friend who is a girl is threatened to examine how he might feel about her. But its strength in both tight writing and character dynamic make it much more than that. It's really brilliant and highly recommended. Number 1, Graduation. Graduation is a highlight of the show for me because it fundamentally acknowledges that Draken and Shiko are just as part of the show's heart as the main characters Kim and Ron. Their interactions with Draken and Shiko, how this defined them, are part of why the show is so unique. The threat of the world is equal to that one time that Draken bought out a fast food chain, and it's up to the heroes and villains to save the day. The episode is also important for the main villains getting closure in a way that's beneficial. Draken wanted to be good at something, and since the motivations in rewriting history are null and void, I don't know, I kinda like this. Similar thing with Ron though, Draken by himself is even less competent, so the writers gave him a flower thing, I guess.
Official flower business.
The villains themselves are hard to take seriously after the off-switch joke, but they still mean to kill, which is a first for this series.
Madness is this!
They found the off switch.
Long have I questioned the wisdom of that accursed switch.
Yes, Draken tries to destroy Kim all the time, but I don't really think he thinks he's going to succeed. Megamind complex, essentially. So although it doesn't handle things perfectly, the special does a great job with matching the scale of other big Kim Possible adventures, but still fitting into a two-parter episode. It also deals with elements of change that are not parallel to the show's ending, and the status quo of the story ultimately being shaken up. Grease ending. I keep my super confusing username for a reason. Kim Possible is a great show, and one of the biggest writing points it taught me is that interesting dialogue and characters can make the characters more believable and self-aware. It can also help the audience relate to the characters and make the world more believable. I personally need twists to get totally obsessive with characters and shows, and the Kim and Ron twist did that for me, recontextualizing their relationship in the show and their relationship up to that point. I'm just so glad the show got an additional 4th season. Being such a die-hard fan of the show and being able to watch new episodes of it at the time is one of my best memories growing up. Please, if you haven't seen Kim Possible, I strongly urge you to check it out. The whole show is available on Disney Plus legally for your binging pleasure. I don't know why you're watching a channel called ILoveKimPossibleAlot without at least trying to watch it. It's not a perfect show, but the highs outweigh the lows, and it's still one of my biggest personal and artistic inspirations. So what's your favorite Kim Possible episode or moment? What things do you want me to talk about next? Let me know in the comments, I might check them. Thanks for watching, and see you next time, communicators. And that's all, folks, except it's not time for the ending gag.
You are heterosexual, or at least someone who is determined to break out of the friend zone. Ron Stoppable is the true hero. You probably also ship Kim and Ron, and you are a huge believer in girls running the show. You get turned on from pet names. You have all the qualities of a Kigo shipper, except the exact opposite. Turns out that guy who had a Canadian girlfriend was actually telling the truth. He's not gay. We were surprised too. You were one of those kids that liked to ship your teachers to distract you from your own social life failures. You're that guy that got friend-zoned and are still salty about it. Worked for Draken, didn't work out for you. Your ideal date is getting Senpai to notice you, and you get a little too invested. She dug him out of the earth. You're the kind of guy that goes with the flow. What's your favorite Kim Possible ship? Yell it at us in the comments. All caps. I dare you. I dare you.
A lot of people ask me, hey, I love Kim Possible a lot. You seem to like Kim Possible a lot. So what is the worst episode that the show has ever made? Well, person living in my head, we're gonna learn about it today. Although Kim Possible is probably one of the best shows ever, not every episode from every show is gonna be great no matter what. Avatar: The Last Airbender has the Grand Canyon, the Great Divide episode. It's like the same thing, so whatever. Rick and Morty, in my opinion, has the Keith David President episode for its lackluster conclusion.
You have the right to get the out of my office. You have the right to kiss my Give me the thing.
And Kim Possible has the episode Grande Size Me, mandated by Disney to get kids to start eating healthy. You know, Disney is taking a shot at McDonald's, who regularly hosts Disney Toys at McDonald's. This is a great idea. What could possibly go wrong? Before we get into it, this episode's setup is a reference to the 2004 documentary Super Size Me. If you don't remember the premise for Super Size Me, it's a documentary based around this guy's attempt to eat nothing but McDonald's food for a whole month. He gains a 13% body mass increase and suffers a whole bunch of physical and psychological symptoms because of his poor diet.
See, now's the time of the meal when you start getting the McStomach ache. My arm. Are
you sweating there?
My arms. I feel like I got some McSweats going. My arms got the McTwitches going in here from all the sugar that's going in my body right now. I'm dying.
What could possibly go wrong? I'm gonna say this a lot in this review. The impact of the documentary was huge at the time, being nominated for an Oscar in Best Documentary and even causing McDonald's to discontinue their Super Size Me menu option. The documentary was later criticized for its lack of scientific value, adding that Spurlock went out of his way to stop exercising and purposely eating the most unhealthy food in order to gain weight, as well as not logging his notes, which is kinda sketchy.
Well, the results of his little fast food experiment are incredibly questionable. His food log for the movie is nowhere to be found. As for the wide range of health complications he experienced, they left experts scratching their heads. Is he making up his data?
And I think there's some weight to that argument. I'll shut up. And for those new to Kim Possible, it's all on Disney+. What are you doing? Go watch it! Go watch it! And then you can come back. The first really bad episode, most considered to be universally bad, is Season 1's Royal Pain, where you have this annoying British Jew that Kim has to protect for the whole episode to stop some prophecy or something.
Oh, I have a problem. A terrible ancient problem.
It's really ungratifying when the person you're supposed to be sympathetic towards is actually just a pain in the I wonder why. He's a bad character, that's why.
But hold that thought, and if you could sidestep just a smidge.
Wally?
Royal Highness, if it's all the same. Cucumber sandwiches must have the crusts removed before they are presented to me. Commoner rags.
Kim Possible also has some more run-of-the-mill plots instead of more character-driven adventures than I would prefer. Do you want an episode where Kim Possible loses her memory? Well, we got that one. Or the one where Kim and Ron switch bodies, but no one questions how they each go to the bathroom. We got that one too. Kim Possible works best, and its comedy is the strongest when you have character-driven episodes. So when you have common television plots like this, with common tropes, I cry on the inside. In these situations, I do wish the writers tried a little harder, but standard plots are sometimes acceptable when there's character development that's unique to the situation. But usually that's a hit or miss on Kim Possible. Do-do-do. Anyway, let's review the episode and watch me suffer for your entertainment. Yay, the internet. The episode opens with the classic Middleton High sign, which is a running gag if you never knew that. Well, now you know. They even used it for the live-action movie that people want to forget about.
That's no good.
Ron is struck with the news that he has to take health class, a staple in the American school system that obviously doesn't work out too well. Like DARE. Look up DARE. We all wasted our time.
Some of the earliest studies of DARE's effectiveness exposed DARE as being a pretty useless program for keeping teenagers off of drugs and alcohol, and in fact was having the opposite intended effect.
Ron is on a mission to prove Barkin wrong and eat Bueno Nacho every day because Barkin says it's not healthy, which they were not doing anyway, surprisingly.
Ron, you do practically live here.
Like half the show takes place at Bueno Nacho. When Barkin is saying Bueno Nacho is bad, Ron gets upset, hence the plot of this episode. Ron doesn't do well when people insult Bueno Nacho.
Barkin's gone too far this time. I've got some concerns. She destroyed Bueno Nacho. You'll pay for this, lady. Oh yes, you will pay!
This ends up mirroring the setup to Super Size Me, where Ron documents his progress, or lack of progress, and how he's feeling as he takes in all this food. It's a lot of food. That's what it is. Meanwhile at
Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated!
No, wrong one. It's Henchco or whatever. Henchco is basically a company run by the Guy and Wally where they make gadgets for bad guys. And they are unveiling a new invention with Humpty Dumpty here and opening an auction and inviting all the villains. What could possibly go wrong? Even Gemini is there, who has not appeared since his debut episode in season 2.
They're all there, even Gemini. Gemini? I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, he got a game one time, but no one seems to remember that. One of the aspects that's brushed up here, and not really this episode's fault, is that this is the first time Draken and Shigo are pictured together after this season's previous Mad Dogs and Aliens, which is just really lazy. For those who don't remember, Draken had a multi-episode arc about how Shigo won't break him out of prison after So the Drama.
Wait! Come back!
Later, losers!
This is She-Girl, the sidekick who didn't break me out of prison.
And then there's this big episode where she shows up anyway, and they are still mad at each other.
I mean, I'll give you Blue, but great? Not so much.
Shigo even helps Kim get Warmongo to leave, while Draken is punched into space. It's a cartoon, it's fine. And then they're just good now? Like, you set up this arc for multiple episodes and straight up don't have an on-screen conclusion? Wow, it's like Disney isn't that good at completing established arcs or something. They kind of fix it last minute with implying Shigo likes Draken romantically, and that explains her behavior, but still. Would have been a not horrible idea to explain that one to the audience. You thought no one would notice, but I noticed. Back when Kim and Ron arrive on the scene, Jack Hench, that's his name, look it up, is selling his new product called the Transducer or whatever the hell. And everyone is kind of like,
Who's applauding?
And once Ron blows his cover by falling into this mysterious substance, Kim fights off all the bad guys until he shows up. Then the villains talk about how he needs to take better care of himself.
You look ghastly, man.
You really should take better care of yourself.
My god, I can't. As the episode proceeds, Ron is basically eating anything in sight.
Yeah, I'll have 3 cheeseburgers.
Peter, for God's sake, she's having a baby.
Oh, that's right. And a kid's meal.
While Kim has to rendezvous with Justice to return the thingamajig. And now the villains track her, so it's a race against the villains. Easter egg alert, Josh from this episode is actually a Make-A-Wish kid. At least we have some positives here.
Well, then mind your own beeswax, Josh.
Ron?
We also get the exciting update that Ron is basically going to turn into this monster because of how he's been eating. And eventually that causes Ron to become this Hulk thing.
Donut!
Subtlety, what's that? The third act of the episode becomes the most stupidest thing ever when Kim and her brothers have to force-feed Ron different types of food from the Good Eating Wheel or whatever the hell it's called, all while being followed by every villain that's ever existed, which I think were written to this episode to pad the runtime. This, I feel, is the stupidest point of the episode for me. Like, how obvious and annoying can you be?
It's every freshman's dream, force-feeding vegetables to a senior.
What's going on with you? What are you talking about?
Eventually, though, through eating all the fruits and vegetables, Ron turns back to normal. And this also causes Ron to lose the extra weight he's gained through the course of this episode. I feel like people would totally be down for being a huge Monster Hulk thing if they could lose like 30 pounds after. Hey, do you want to lose weight? Are you allergic to working hard and exercising? Do you just like eating tons and tons of sugar and chocolate? Like me, you should try the Kim Possible Vat of Acid diet. Cover yourself with this mysterious substance, become a monster for like 20 minutes, and then lose up to 30 to 50 pounds. Are you interested? Of course you are. All you gotta do is press that subscription button, and you'll totally get this in the mail. Totally, because this is a real thing that exists. Totally. I see you. Are you pressing it? It's so easy to lose weight with this thing that totally isn't made up. Just subscribe or call this number on your screen. Or whatever. It's fine.
What in the Disney Channel
is that?
I guess the moral of this episode is try to take care of yourself and not just eat, everything. As some follow-up criticism has noted with Super Size Me, it's not so much that McDonald's itself is the problem, but how you choose to eat, in general. I don't know, isn't that kind of misleading? I get the production of this episode had good intentions, but its execution comes off as forced and unnatural, especially in the end there. Where did they even get all the food?
Where did he get a crossbow?
I get it, healthy habits take time to adapt and regulate, but I don't think that anyone is going to drastically change their eating habits because of this one episode of Kim Possible. Especially considering that this is the last season of Kim Possible, I feel like this episode spot could have been used to tell a more meaningful story, or at least clean up some of the messier storytelling that sometimes gets lost in this show. But you have Hulk, Ron, because that's what you wanted, right, Disney?
I'm so not in the mood for this.
There are more obvious examples of media trying to hand-fist a lesson for this episode, and this episode does have its moments of clarity.
Ow! 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 Yeah, that was a busy first semester.
But the general premise and setup is so painfully forced that it makes me cringe just thinking about it. And there you go. That's the worst episode of Kim Possible. God, I just hate life sometimes. So what's your favorite episode of Kim Possible? What's your worst episode of Kim Possible? Have you even seen Kim Possible a lot? Let me know in the comments that I won't read, because algorithm. And that's all, folks, except it's not time for the ending gag.
Hey, Ron, try one of our new Muy Bueno enchiladas? Not a chance, Ned. I want a
Walkie slush.
Hey, look, I think something's happened to us.
Krusty Krab, here I come! Oh! How long was I gone?
Sorry, Mr. Ding. They're evil.
Oh, just because I do bad things, that makes me evil?
Yeah. You're a villain.
Oh, you teenagers think you have it all figured out. Sometimes there are shades of gray.
Not in this case.
No, but I'm just saying that...
So people ask me all the time, hey KP, I just remembered you existed today. Can you tell me about the Blue Man Group guy? And then I'm like, sure, more Kim Possible videos. I can write them in my sleep. For those who are late to the party, or like 14, all of Kim Possible is available legally on Disney+, even the bad live-action movie we don't talk about.
The first rule of Kim Possible is you do not talk about Kim Possible.
It's a good show, or my name isn't. I love Kim Possible a lot. A lot. Wait, you can even have Kim as your Disney Plus avatar to increase the fun, or whatever. She's the only one though, even though we have like the whole cast of Phineas and Ferb, so get on that, Disney. Today we'll be talking about Dr. Draken, and why he's not as evil as you remember. So all this useless Kim Possible knowledge that rots in my brain can be used for something. First, a character breakdown. The first time we see Draken in chronological order in his life is in college, via flashback at the Middleton Institute of Science and Technology. They never said that, but I backtracked that information. You're welcome. A lot.
Well, honey, there was only one college for me. Missed.
Missed?
Middleton's Institute of Science and Technology.
The biggest point that this episode is trying to make is not to be gross to people you care about, which surprisingly, Kim's dad, James Possible, never really learned. You were expecting in the span of this, backstory episode, for someone to apologize for treating Draken like a tool, but they never do. Good guys, am I right? James and all his friends make fun of Draken so horribly that it forces him to drop out. Pay attention to this bit.
Go on, laugh away, but one day my genius will be recognized.
You see that? That's called a setup for a character arc. You didn't notice it, but your brain did. There, that's my reference to this video. Comment if you think you know it. This scene establishes that Draken doesn't want to take over the world because he wants to do some bad things, but more to show how gifted he is. Compared to a character like the Brain from Pinky and the Brain. The Brain isn't evil, he just has a goal.
And I say, Zangief, you are bad guy. But this does not mean you're bad guy.
We also never really see what Draken would do if he actually took over the world. Would it be an ego thing, or would he just, want the power, or we don't know. For those playing at home who have never seen Kim Possible, Draken's main goal throughout the series is trying to take over the world.
Of course!
The writers did try to give this more depth by adding a more complex villain motivation and rewriting history, But because Disney mandated it had to be a dream episode, none of it counts, so I still don't know why Disney did that. And to his credit, Draken is pretty smart. In the show's canon, he is the closest to taking over the world, if we don't count Shigo's successful attempt in A Stitch in Time. It didn't really happen, doesn't count. His plan, and so the drama at least, caused a heavy amount of global damage, to the point where he finally got arrested. Now let's look at the evil part.
Oh, I am feeling super evil. How do I look?
Compared to some other Kim Possible villains, Draken usually doesn't have any plans to kill Kim. I mean, he does try to do some harsh things to her, but I think it's pretty obvious that Kim plays with his expectations, and he only goes all out because of overkill. I mean, if you put Kim in a box, sink it, put a shark and a killer squid in it, and then freeze the water, that doesn't seem quick and easy like something a murderer would do unless you're trying to kill Rasputin or something.
Do you want to know why I use
man-eating sharks?
Guns are too quick.
Other times, Draken usually just wants to keep Kim distracted.
You're too late, Kim Possible. For while Shigo keeps you busy, I shall launch my hypertronic devastator drone.
This adds to Kim's kind of tolerance of him, like in Hidden Talent, she pets him on the head. She's never seriously threatened by him. The evilest act he's probably done is steal a superpower wheelchair one time.
Oh, no. You're not gonna jack some kid's wheelchair.
Newsflash, Shigo. I'm a bad man.
No, you're not. And the actual events show the drama, using Kim's insecurities against her. She's very afraid of her dating status because of the junior prom. But if you really look at Draken's source material, I doubt he actually timed this for the junior prom, where Kim was feeling a little bit more insecure about this than usual, but, you know, it just worked out that way. Teenagers like boys, right? Check my math.
My latest research project, Teenage Wasteland. Stevens, progress report.
What up, Dr. D Diggity Dog?
We've lost Stevens.
But I think the most telling instances of Draken's real motivations and personality is found here. So we mentioned a character arc a couple of minutes ago. Did that get resolved? You bet it did. Did it work out better than the original idea of letting Draken and Shigo just rot in prison?
In prison. Rotting. Yes, the rotting.
Also a yes. In case you don't have Disney Plus or just don't remember, Draken did save the world at the end of the series, and he got a medal from the United Nations and like the whole thing. Kim's never gotten a medal, by the way. That seems a little strange. Still, Draken set out what he planned to do, just not the way he thought. He proved himself. That's why I never really bought the idea that Draken and Shigo would be villains again after graduation. You finally did the lifelong thing, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna try for seconds? Why? That sounds stupid and disappointing. If there was ever a season 5 of Kim Possible, what do I think Draken and Shigo would do? Well, this.
There was a man, he dropped out, now he's back, he had a
nemesis.
Now she's in college with him.
They let me in, I let myself out.
It's a good idea, don't laugh at me. Shigo is similar in a way. It's established really early on that she does like evil, and she's good at it.
I am evil! Have I made myself clear?
But she does have a soft spot for certain things.
That's right. You wanted your brothers to get their powers back. You don't really have it in you to betray them.
Are you saying that I am going soft?
As a marshmallow.
Like, I don't imagine Shigo ever killing someone. She did take over the world in A Stitch in Time, but in the more streamlined storyline, she doesn't have that strong of an ambition to do it most of the time. Or else she would just take over the world by herself, you know? I think in some ways she admires Draken's ambition, and she kind of wants to come back to see what's going to happen. There is a visual change in Shigo's general attitude in Season 4, though, as she makes the point to make sure that no one else can defeat Kim or something.
Oh, no you don't.
She also shows genuine worry when she thinks someone else is going to kill Kim. That's new to Season 4. That's never been a thing before. But it's really a cover because she doesn't want Kim to, like, get seriously hurt, you know.
I am not gonna let this she thing just waltz in and destroy Kimmy. That's my job!
Don't lie to me, Shigo. I know what's going on. I mean, in the last episode, Shigo isn't throwing a fit that she has to help save the world. She travels to Middleton solely to save Draken, because she likes him. It makes an active effort to go to space, because she likes him. She could have not bothered with this and gone on vacation or even used the weakened governments to try to take over the world herself, and she doesn't do any of that, which should tell you a lot about how her character has developed over the course of the series. So both are not so evil, even more by the end of the series. Also, they are canon, it's confirmed, go home, they're having sex, it's happening, Mental images, mental images. I apologize for nothing. So what do you think? What's your favorite Draken and Shigo moments? Let me know in the comments, and please remember to subscribe and turn your notifications on for more content, please.
Got it.
Draken.
Impossible!
You're in college?
You're my new college roommate?
We're gonna be living together?
In the same dorm?
For the whole year?
With my
girlfriend.
And that's all, folks, except it's not time for the ending gag.
If we wanted one-offs, we'd do interdimensional cable, not some uptight overwritten. Rick! God damn! Tickets, please.
Dude, I'm sure you've got, like, so many tickets at this point. Jesus, the tickets please guy is cut.
I'll turn him into a flea. A harmless little flea. And then I'll put that flea in a box. And then I'll put that box inside of another box. And then I'll mail that box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer.
Barnacles! What could be worse than a
Canon couple.
Oh, I know!
Canon couples.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please remember to leave a comment and share this with a friend or 2 or 5. Click here to subscribe, we really appreciate it. Click here to check out the main collaborator for this video. Click here to check out our video playlist for this video, where you might find similar videos that hopefully you like and enjoy. There's also a credit scroll here, where you can check out all the other awesome contributors. All their info is in the description. That's all I gotta say, KPOA!